Hello everybody, and welcome! To all my viewers tuning in from the Xerxiot 12 system on their Union-mandated break from the Arachnid Wars, Shershaya Vaimon Requedo Call, am I right, fellas? Welcome back to Where Are We Now? The only digital exploration series that is zany enough to hide a single frame of the hit 1990 film Gremlins 2 somewhere in this episode. We're back in Gmod this time to explore some more workshop maps. I'm bringing you all a well-requested rerun of a previous theme. That's right, it's time for another late-night special. The previous late-night special actually turned out to be one of my favorite episodes of Where Are We Now ever, largely thanks to how good the maps we got to explore were. I mean, seriously, Nefertari's Nightlight is an absolutely generational Gmod map. I don't know, there's something innately comfy about nighttime to me. It's quiet, you can see the blanket of stars overhead. The frogs and crickets are locked into the finest duet since David Bowie and Queen's Under Pressure. It's bliss. And I'm completely aware of the fact that this is my soft 21st century brain talking here. But from a purely aesthetic perspective, I actually prefer the night to the day. If a medieval peasant heard me say that, they might backhand me. In times long past, night brought with it stuff like predators, the cold, thieves. But as a modern day peasant, I don't have to worry about most of that stuff on a regular basis. Everyday peasant life is pretty okay. The worst thing about nighttime to me now is worrying about how late I can order DoorDash. And that very cushiness extends to nighttime Gmod maps too. You don't have to worry about wolves predating on your livestock or grave robbers digging up Grandpa. You can just take it all in. And that's exactly what we're doing tonight. Just before we begin, a special shout out to everyone who supports me over on Patreon. Check the link in the description to learn how you can help me make videos like this for as little as $3 a month. Alright, recline that lazy boy, fluff that pillow, and sip that beverage of your choice, because it's time to explore some workshop maps. At night. Ready? Let's do it. The location of our first late-night stroll is Amber Metro by Procyon. Not even 3 steps in, and I already like the mood here. It's got that liminal feeling, thanks to the impressionism flourishes in the architecture. I'm pretty sure this sort of building could exist in the real world. Yeah, we build a lot of strange structures, don't we? You're probably thinking of one right now. The one I'm thinking of is Habitat 67 out in Montreal. Look at that. That's pure function over form. So I guess this isn't totally bonkers. But where is this? It looks like people live here, or they're meant to anyways. The lights are on, so I'll assume it isn't abandoned. It strikes me as sort of a slum layout, only this clearly isn't an underserved community. It's extremely clean here. I'll tell you what though, they could stand to put something in this grass, like a playground or a community garden or something. Ah, looks like these are apartments up here. Yeah, this is pretty common in urban residential areas in the US. They'll doll up the outside to look all nice and presentable to possible residents or potential business partners, but then the inside will have peeling paint and yellow ceilings and stuff. Oh, okay, so we have confirmed denizens in this place. Everyone's just inside. Am I out past curfew? Is this a dystopian society we're looking at here? Well, dystopian or not, it's still pretty nice. They absolutely nailed the light color here. I'm actually getting a little bit of whiplash because the buildings have such robotic uniformity to them, but the lighting is so warm and welcoming that I don't know how to feel. The souvenir shop here is completely barren. Actually, looking at the sign here, it seems to be a very old lot, so this probably hasn't even been a souvenir shop in many years. I'm surprised they keep the lights on inside, actually. Maybe they use it as an emergency heat shelter in the wintertime or something. My town has a few places like that. Hey, what gives? These storefronts don't even have functioning doors, just windows. It's almost as if it's just intended to have the outside appearance of a store. Oh man, is this like one of those old fake towns they would build out in the desert to test bombs and stuff? Well, they should still at least have a door in the front. You're just gonna disappoint any actual people that happen to come around. Well, not me, but, you know. The people that don't appreciate the sound of shattering glass. Let's see what's going on back here. I know the sound of a ragdoll smacking against the ground when I hear it. What the hell is this? Some sort of garbage chute? Looks like the stars are moving. That's a nice touch. Oh, okay, so it's like that. The Cyber Cafe is serving people manwiches. So this just got a little bit darker. That was a corpse. Well, the lower half of one. Maybe it was someone who got caught out during curfew and they just send him down here? But why just the lower half? I guess they could be harvesting them for organs. I mean, those things don't exactly grow on trees. Not normal ones. Well, on to the next room, I guess. It's some sort of office space back here. They've got Pepsi and they've got guns. Oh yeah, look at this room. This has got to be where the enforcers are based out of. That's why they have these sliding doors that take them anywhere in the city. Let's go this way. You know what? I'm gonna say it. This is a nice alleyway. This is the first trash I've seen so far, but as alleys go, I've seen way worse. The wooden beams overhead and the color of the light is reminding me of the sets from that movie Little Monsters from 1989. That's Howie Mandel you're looking at right now, by the way. The Deal or No Deal guy. Yeah, that took me out when I first learned it too. My favorite bit in that movie is when the kids think they're trapped in the monster world because the sun is up, which locks off the portal, because everybody knows that monsters only come out at night. So they have to travel the Blighttown-looking wooden ramparts and walkways of the underworld all the way west to California, where the sun hasn't risen yet, in order to leave. That always stuck with me because, now they're just 5 kids unattended in California. How are they going to explain to their parents, or anyone, how they got all the way the hell to the west coast in one night? I'm pretty sure they started in, Maine or some shit. Hey, this is a cute little apartment. It's got a full bathroom, a modest kitchen. Honestly, you could do worse. You don't need that much space if you're... Whoa! Yeah, never mind. It's haunted. It's haunted. Jeez, crow. What in the name of... I have no idea if that's an intentional encounter or if that was just some horrific physics quirkiness, but yeah, I retract my statement. This apartment is not cute. It's cursed. Let's get back outside. We're supposed to be soaking in that nighttime atmosphere. Oh, much better. The stars are so pretty, man. What insane luck we all have to rest eternally under this. Hey, I just noticed the smoke coming up out of the chimney stacks. That's a really nice touch. It makes the place feel that much more alive. Actually, that might be steam, like you see in New York City coming up off the street. I think it's probably caused by heating systems. I have to imagine a place like this has moved past burning wood for heat. Oh, is that a satellite dish I see up there? Looks like someone's got cable. Multiple people, actually. Yeah, I've been seeing less and less of these around in real life for the last few years. How long until cable is phased out completely, I wonder? Probably a while. Cable television has been ingrained in our culture for 100 years at this point. I give it another 20 years at least until it's completely gone in the favor of internet-based media services. And someone must have heard me talking about community gardens earlier because there's one right up here on the roof. It appears to be doing very well. Someone put a lot of effort into this. Huh. Maybe this place isn't as dystopian as I thought. Oh wow, I only just noticed the skyscrapers in the distance. Hey, that's the Willis Tower in Chicago, isn't it? Is that where we are? I've only been to Chicago once, and it's because I missed my connecting flight there and had to wait until morning for another one. So I can't say for certain if that's confirmed. I mostly just saw the inside of an airport. Anyone in Illinois want to chime in and let me know if this is what it's like there? Do you have fake storefronts and haunted apartments and cafe meat grinders the size of a missile silo? This vent up here on the roof looks extremely suspect, but I can't for the life of me get it to open. I bet there's something somewhere else I have to find. And yeah, after an embarrassing amount of time spent looking around for a way to unlock the vent up there, I found this button. Let's see what's going on in here. It sure is dark. It's like a monitoring station or something. Twix bar, Twix bar, Twix bar. A bomb! Even better. I know what to do with this. Wow, this is something, isn't it? That's a very elaborate door. Oh, look at this. It's like a gallery of other maps. It's unclear to me if these are maps made by the same artist as Amber Metro here, or if these are just features of maps that they like. I think I've actually played on one or two of these. Very cool, and really well done. There's even some personal thanks in the small room back here, as well as a shout out to the Hammer Editor Discord group. Yeah, they do great work over there. I recommend anyone looking to get into making maps for Gmod to check it out. And that's gonna do it for all there is to explore on Amber Metro. It really is such a good looking map. It's got this really stellar suburban nighttime atmosphere that's distinct from others I've seen before. I think Procyon really knocked it out of the park with this one. The lighting is more or less perfect. I could do with a little more outdated commercialism though, but I think this next map has us covered there. This next map is called Sentimental 98 by Savvy Sammy. It appears to be a simple East Coast shopping plaza from the 90s. Specifically, the workshop description says that this is Newark, New Jersey. Now, being from New York State myself, I was brought up to view Jersey as New York's dirtier, less successful counterpart, but as I've grown up, I've come to have a sort of begrudging respect for the place. Now, don't get me wrong, Jersey is still basically the stray dog that lives in New York's backyard. But goddamn does that place turn out musical talent like it's nothing. I mean, they brought us Bon Jovi, Dan Avedon, and My Chemical Romance. You cannot look me in the eye and tell me that Ray Toro's guitar work isn't some of the best to come out of the punk scene ever. So that's where I stand on Jersey. This area looks nice though, and if this is a faithful reconstruction of it, then it's not nearly as filthy as I've been led to believe. At least it wasn't in 1998. I really dig the vibe of downtown areas at nighttime, and that's something that the Source engine does really well, I think. Honestly, not enough Source games took advantage of how effective the lighting and geometry brushes are at creating this grounded, familiar Night City atmosphere. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines knew what Source was capable of. The city looks incredible there. But, my feelings on that game are complicated. Maybe we'll get into it another time. I don't want to sour the vibe. So hey, we're downtown, so let's do some shopping. Tower Records. Yeah, they really aren't around anymore, are they? Well, they still sell cassettes and records and stuff online, but I think the last physical store closed in like 2000 and something. I like their selection. Oh wait, you can make out some of this stuff. Yeah, they've got Nirvana, Smash Mouth, Genesis. Very 90s indeed. And I think these are supposed to be sampling stations where you could listen to an album before buying it. Maybe they had music videos playing on the TVs up there? I think it's funny to think of a reality where they would just use payphones like this, though. I'm not old enough to remember the 90s, but my childhood was in the 2000s, so a lot of the culture was still lingering for me. I seem to remember there just being speaker setups with buttons you could press to sample a corresponding song. Yeah, just like that. Sometimes there would be a set of cheap-ass headphones, but my parents never let me use them, and they were so real for that. There's probably so many people's head germs on those things. Our relationship with music is so different now, isn't it? With everything at your fingertips all the time, we're so spoiled. You used to have to come to a place like this just to update your music library. I'm not going to sit here and glaze old music stores like this. It's way more convenient now, and way more tastes are catered to. Instant music streaming is why niche microgenres like Midwest emo and acid jazz can access a much bigger audience now. You don't have to come on down to Tower record stores like this one anymore to find something that speaks to you. but I do think we lost a big chunk of the social aspect of music along the way. Right next door to the Tower Records is Mickey's Cleaners, a laundromat. Yeah, laundromats really haven't changed that much, have they? This is more or less functionally identical to the one that I go to. It just goes to show you, sometimes, every once in a while, we get something perfectly right the first time. Also, I just learned this, some southern people call these places washaterias. How cute is that? McRae and Associates. Ew, it's a realtor's office. Places like this make my skin itch. It just reminds me of all those places you didn't want to be as a kid, but because you were a kid, you'd be dragged there anyways. So boring. That's one thing I don't miss about my childhood. Nice bathroom, though. And hey, does anyone know which map this one in the picture is? It's obviously New York, but I don't know which map specifically. It's a nice touch to use an in-game screenshot instead of just a real-life photo of New York. Seems more real that way somehow. Anyways, the next door in the plaza is a Radio Shack. Oh hell yeah, this is much more my speed. There was a Radio Shack in the mall my family used to go to. We never bought anything from there except for maybe camera film, but it was a lot of fun to look at all the expensive stuff we could never afford. I mean, it still is, you just can't do it in a Radio Shack anymore because they went extinct. Man, look at this computer. I sort of miss when see-through colored plastic cases were in fashion. Bring those back to the mainstream. I think I actually still have my purple see-through Game Boy Advance sitting around here somewhere. Awarded the best office computer of 1997. The Cardinal Rivas, huh? Okay, I'm gonna try to read this for you, even though it's gonna give me eye strain. Couldn't think of actual updates or improvements a company would make for a fake PC. I make maps, I don't actually know any of the technical stuff that goes into making it good. Do you like this image? I made it using paint? Thank you for reading this, I really appreciate it. Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for the free eye test. You know what? I'm legitimately impressed with myself that I was able to read all that. Probably because of all those carrots I've been eating. There's all these VHS tapes on the shelf, too. I can't make any of them out. I think that green and orange one might be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something. The Sposia S4, here like never before. Yeah, there's text on this one too, but my eyes are actually starting to hurt a little from that last one, so you can pause the video if you want to give it a try. Man, look at all these old blocky computers. I always thought it would be sort of funny if you got an old-looking computer case like this and put like a 4090 or something in it. Just absolutely fill that dinosaur of a case with thousands of dollars worth of modern components. Someone's had to have done that before, right? I think you would actually need to make a new custom case in the style of these old beige ones, since the materials likely haven't aged well and they used completely different board mounts back then. Golden Panda Chinese Takeout. Yeah, classic. It just wouldn't be the complete East Coast experience without a completely generic takeout place with a corny name like this. I tell you what, this is a lot cleaner than any Chinese takeout place I've ever been to. I had a coworker once who used to say that the dirtier the place was, the better the food tastes. He goes to the doctor a lot. Oh man, I can just smell the egg rolls walking in here. I ate a lot of Chinese food in college. I still do, but I did back then too. It's cheap, you can find it everywhere, and the portion sizes are usually fairly generous. When I first moved away from home, I lived in Potsdam, New York. Charming little town if you stay away from the Racket River at night. I went to the local Chinese place there so often that they would give me free crab rangoon each time for giving them so much business. And before the actuallys pointed out in the comments, I'm aware that it's not quote-unquote real Chinese food you get at places like this. It's American Chinese food. But if you put two plates in front of me, one with General Tso's chicken and the other one with zhajiang mian, I'd hesitate, but I'm picking the chicken every time. Funkoland. Wow, I've only heard the legends. I love the carpet in here. Funkoland went out of business decades ago at this point. They eventually merged with GameStop and they're still around. At least for now, I know they've been treading water for a while. If this interior is accurate, then the only thing that really changed after the merger is the color scheme. They're advertising the original Spyro, Ocarina of Time, and Half-Life. What a lineup. I mean, honestly, so much good shit came out in 1998. These games, Rush Hour, me. You might be disappointed if you walked in here and asked for Ocarina of Time or Half-Life, though. Those two games aren't coming out until November. The workshop description says it's September 30th, 1998. Incidentally, that's also the day I'll never forget. The cop inside me died that day, and that night, Raccoon City was wiped out, thanks to the bioweapons created by Umbrella. Yeah, sorry. That's embarrassing. I thought I could hold that one in. I think these game covers are AI generated. It's got that garbled text thing going on. Man, the Sega Dreamcast, what a console. I don't think we ever had one. We had an N64 and then a GameCube. But I know a legend when I see one. So many memorable titles on this console alone. I mean, Seaman? Hello? The Dreamcast wouldn't be coming out for another year though. It came out in September of '99. I don't think they'd be demoing it this early. Oh hey, you could pre-order it and get a free Sega Dreamcast t-shirt. I bet those things go for real money nowadays if they're brand new. This reminds me so much of being in GameStop. And I think I'm breaking my record for the most stories I've ever told in a single episode, because here comes another one. When I was like 10, I asked my mom to take me to GameStop to buy Metal Gear Solid 3. She wasn't completely sold on the idea, since like a good parent she did her research and discovered that the game was rated M, but I had read about it in a Game Informer magazine and it looked cool as shit. So because my mom's cool as shit, she entertained the notion of maybe letting me pick it up that day despite the rating. So we get to the store and we find the game, but uh-oh, she takes it over to the guy working the register to ask him specifically about the sexual themes tag on the ESRB rating. This employee, you guys. This employee takes one look at the game and smirks. He had obviously played it before. Then he glances over at me, age 10, standing behind my mom, nervously excited to get my hands on that masterpiece of a game. We must have connected in that moment because this guy hands the game back to my mom and says verbatim, "Nah, they just kiss at the end," and lies to my mom so that I could get the game. They don't kiss at the end. They fuck lovey-dovey style on the carpet in front of a fire. There's a twink in a thong you have to stuff in a locker. Eva's chest has jiggle physics, for shit's sake. They just kiss at the end. What an absolutely legendary GameStop employee. Of course, I was 10. I couldn't give two shits about the TNA. I just wanted to sneak around and shoot dudes. But I still think about that sometimes. GameStop employee that lied to my mom for me, if you're still out there somewhere, respect. And I know she watches my videos sometimes, so, sorry, Mom. Gamer solidarity is a hard thing to beat. Blockbuster. Yeah, remember them? They went under because they couldn't adapt to the digital age. I vaguely remember going to Blockbuster a few times, but it's not clear. I think my grandmother took my siblings and I there when she would babysit. I read somewhere that there's still a couple of stores operating in some places. That must be a weird working environment. I bet they crack jokes about it all the damn time. It's probably insufferable. The Silence of the Lambs. Fantastic movie. I actually consider it a must-watch. There's really not much going on at this Blockbuster. I would have liked to see the names of the movies on the shelf, but it's too blurry like the other stuff. My household growing up was an early adopter of Netflix's DVD rental services. There'd be a red envelope in the mailbox every damn week at one point. I think that's how I first saw Shrek. Did you know that Netflix was mailing out physical DVDs to people as late as 2023? Yeah, me either until I looked it up 30 seconds ago. Netflix has kind of mutated in the last couple of decades, and I don't really like their policies or the creative colonialism they engage in with respect to Netflix Korea, but I gotta admit, that red envelope is iconic. Next door is Ramsey's, a restaurant. I don't think it's real, but I could just be ignorant. Maybe it's a local place in Jersey. It's not bad in here. It strikes me as Cracker Barrel if it was lit better in there. I know why they do that, though. It's the stains. Oh, but Cracker Barrel doesn't have a buffet. Nice, they've got, beans, blueberries, grass, dirt. Yeah, video game food has come a long way, huh? I guess there's always the Wendy's in the center of the plaza if you're just not in a dirt mood today. Remember when fast food places used to have these glass side rooms you could eat in, and they'd just get super hot in the summertime and unbearable? I haven't seen one in a long time. Why'd they stop doing that? I blame it on McDonald's. Once they started sterilizing everything and sucking the color out of their branding, everyone else sorta did too. In an age when dissing someone's favorite fast food place can get you a brick through your front window, people can be afraid to criticize a place. But I don't care. I'll throw the brick right back at you. I'm gonna say it. Wendy's is mid. The best thing that Wendy's brought into the world was when they let their social media people just go full scorched earth on Twitter in the late 2010s. That was amusing for a couple of weeks, but like corporations always do, everyone else started doing it and it got corny really fast. But yeah, I've never been impressed with the food at Wendy's. It's okay, don't get me wrong, there are worse places to eat, Arby's, but it just doesn't get me in the door, you know? And that's all the stores in this shopping plaza visited. I think Funkoland was my favorite, but they're all so good. The interiors are actually so believable that I'm surprised now to walk to the back of the Wendy's and not find a grouchy kitchen employee out here by the dumpster on a smoke break. The nighttime mood is excellent too. There's nothing quite like looking out at the bustling nightlife from within a fluorescent light-filled electronics store. It's comfy, and the fact that the 90s advertisements and branding had me telling real-life stories left and right should speak volumes to the map's accuracy. Really stellar work here, Savvy Sammy. I really didn't think I'd be spending so much time on such a small map. Alright, it's time to take this bus here to the final map of the video. It's a big one, so settle in. This map is called Sorelane by M. Schulmeister. This is an RP map, haven't done one of these in a while. I've had my eye on this one for a bit, I've just been waiting for the right episode to crack into it. It looks like we're starting in some underpass. That's not the most appealing area to start an adventure, but that just means it can only get better from here. I have no idea what to make of the glowing red stuff flowing through the passages up there. It doesn't look like molten metal, and I don't think it's a super long train. Maybe we'll find out in Scrapland. Get some oil on that door, maybe. Yeah, this is definitely its own world. I don't think we're in Kansas anymore. It reads as not too distant future to me. Sector F personnel must double the daily output until further notice. Unjust demands of the factory workers? This got immediately dystopian. That's not a good sign. What is their output, though? What are they making here? Oh yeah, look at that exhaust. It's gotta be what, at least midnight judging by the sky and the factory's still churning out product at full steam? I guess that's not unheard of. Hopefully the night shift at least gets good pay. I'm loving all of these assets. A lot of the textures, sounds, and models are custom imported ones, and that helps a ton to set this apart from other similar maps, and to help it feel like a real world. Minor component gathering. Oh, I see. Yeah, look, there's some usable bits and bobs set on these tables with some more generic scrap put aside, likely for smelting down into something else. I think what's happening here is that they're sifting through junk to find good parts to either sell or reuse. Interesting. Look at all this scrap. It looks like Tetanus City, Utah down there. Better wear some steel gloves or something. Major component gathering. Wow, look at this place. It's like some sort of dystopian industrial nightmare. So this is where the big bits come to get sorted and processed. There's huge smelters, tons of power generators, and I think these might be little worker apartments or something. The level of detail in this map is incredible. This place here looks just like where they had their final standoff in Terminator 2. Check out all that smoke coming out of the huge furnaces down there. You just know it is scorching hot in here. I bet they have workers dropping daily from heat exhaustion or even heat stroke. I very much doubt the ventilation at this place is on the up and up. Okay, it looks like we're finally breaking out of the industrial sector and into the city proper. Huh. I'm seeing a lot of lights on indoors, but that kind of makes sense. I'm assuming the factories here are some of the largest employers in the area since it looks like they process a lot of material. And if they're running day and night, there would be a relatively large number of people who are awake throughout the night and sleep during the day. I've got some buddies like that, but they're not factory workers, I'll tell you that one for free. Isn't it funny how that works? You could be so employed that you're awake until sunrise working the graveyard shift, or you can be so unemployed that you're awake until sunrise playing video games. I myself lie somewhere in between the two extremes. I stay up late, but not so late that it becomes early, you know what I mean? What's this building? Total Surveillance Incorporated. We keep you in line. Wow, okay, so they aren't even trying to hide it. And it's an incorporation, so that means whatever authority runs this place is offloading major surveillance of citizens to private corporations. That's not a good sign. Also, peep that insane-looking castle over there. Those statues are huge, and they look ancient. So it seems that the city was built up around the castle. Interesting. Could there be some crazy natural resource recently discovered beneath the castle that allowed the city to prosper like this? That's what it's spelling for me. We'll find out in due time, I'm sure. So from here there appears to be a few ways to go, but I think I want to see more of the inner city first. Soak up some of the culture. Like the Marigold Hotel. Man, I'm such a sucker for Gothic architecture. Even though this is decrepit and old, the windows and trim here still look cool to me. Yeah, it doesn't look like this place does a whole lot of business. Well, at least it's probably cheap. And hey, they've got laundry. I sort of doubt these machines still run, though. Look at all that rust. This is the kind of place where if you asked for room service, the clerk is just going to crush a stray cockroach with his bare hand and tell you to piss off. What's that show Gordon Ramsay used to do where he visits hotels? Hotel Hell? I would love to see a feature on the Marigold Hotel here. I bet it would chew him up and spit him out. The owners wouldn't even give a shit about what he has to say. They'd probably just steal the crew's camera equipment and sell it for a quick buck. It can always be worse, though. For example, the apartment complex across the street doesn't even have stairs. It's just a ladder going up and down what I assume was once an elevator shaft at some point. Good luck moving into the 4th floor. You're gonna need a harness and a pulley system to get furniture up there. Good life. It looks like this is just a collection of ramshackle huts down in the dried up waterway. It probably floods down here every time it rains. Yeah, see? The trade person has the right idea. They put their hut on stilts. Be like the trade person. It's amusing to me that there's a parking garage down here. As if anyone is well off enough to afford a car. There's not even many places in town where you can drive, it's so congested. Workers' town. Ah, okay. This isn't so bad, actually. The workers seem to be doing alright for themselves. I mean, relatively, of course. This is much roomier and cleaner than Good Life, and they have the luxury of stairs. It reminds me of the bottom of Undeadburg down here. There would be similar denizens, too. Thieves hiding around every corner, stray dogs, the whole works. I bet Workers' Town is where the majority of players would live if this map were run on a populated RP server. There's lots of apartments and lots of room. It's pretty easy to get lost, but you could probably find your way around with relative ease after a couple hours of playing. A bar! I'm amazed it took this long to find one. I'm not a bar-goer myself, but I recognize their significance to the common folk. These places have been around in cities and towns for about as long as cities and towns have been a thing. This one looks kinda stinky, though. In my opinion, there should really be a 12 gauge underneath the bar here. This seems like the kind of neighborhood where you would want some extra security. Well, all in all, Workers' Town isn't so bad. There's a lot of places to get murdered, but also a lot of places to hide, so it evens out, I think. It's a pretty quiet night, actually. Maybe people are too busy or malnourished to do lots of crime. It makes me wonder what the countryside outside the city is like. I bet it's a lot of abandoned buildings with ivy growing up the sides, like in the Green Hell map from the last episode. The subways in town are pretty neat. Since the trains obviously don't run anymore, the cars are parked stationary on the tracks and retrofitted into domiciles. Actually, the signage that shows you down here refers to this place as the Subway Shops, so this might be the best place in town to get a foot-long sandwich or to find merchants plying their trade. Oh yeah, look at this. I mean, it's dirty, but I bet you can get all sorts of black market and contraband items down here. Blackmail, drugs, weapons, exotic animals. You name it, you can get it, and likely cheap too. Since black markets operate outside of legal market systems, they don't have to worry about things like taxes and regulations and stuff. Honestly, underground markets like this are probably necessary in this society. With presumably harsh regulations and even harsher taxes looking at the state of this place, a good amount of people likely shop exclusively down here. It works out, since I doubt the man would dirty his pristine boots to come down here and collect taxes. That's just asking to disappear without a trace. From the subway shops here, there's also a way down into the sewers, which are, you guessed it, absolutely disgusting. They lead into the underbelly of the castle from earlier, but I can't seem to find a way up into it. Just this big, sightless pit at the bottom. There's probably a lot of bodies down there. Man, I bet the rats in this place are huge. I'd say they would make for good eating, but they probably don't. I think I found the ticket office. It's probably just someone's shop now, though. This place hasn't sold any train tickets in years. And when you know it, this end of the subway opens up into an entirely different part of the town. This area has proper roads, and they almost have grass, too. And a public trash can. Yeah, I think we're in Uptown now. This is where the more well-off families live, I bet. The factory floor managers, the richer merchants, the ones cozied up to the authoritarian regime in charge. They probably keep that under wraps, though, if they're smart. Yeah, there's a really nice nighttime city vibe in this section. It almost feels entirely normal and not underserved, in sharp contrast to the rest of the map. Yeah, look at this, a storefront window without bars on it. That would not fly in a place like Good Life or Workers' Town. A couple of these interiors in this section are actually almost cozy. Almost. Up here, the wooden floor and the exposed yellow light bulb give this room a nice warm feeling. But the water-damaged walls and the complete lack of any furnishings at all ruins it for me, personally. I'm just being pedantic about the latter, though. Roleplay maps have empty interiors on purpose so the players can populate the rooms with their own furniture. I know I said this place is clean, and relative to the rest of the city, it is. But I bet that illusion absolutely shatters once this place sees broad daylight. And I still have no idea what to make of the lights up on that overpass. I guess the normal thing to assume is that there are cars driving through this place, and rightfully so. But the lights are so uniform and red. If this turns out to be a simple train network and I'm just missing some texture files, I'm going to be very disappointed in myself. Whoa, 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 what is this? Military zone? That's the subway down there. Where am I? There's actually good vantage points over several areas of the city. Oh, we're right beside the castle. That makes sense. Stay away, government building. That's adorable. Wow, fancy. The government is hogging all the clean. Look how pristine these metal and tile corridors are. What is this, Cloud City? If these are beds, they look really, really, really uncomfortable. Those stone beds in some areas of Skyrim might have new competitors for the spot of least comfy-looking video game bed of all time. They've got gas masks hanging up outside of reception here. I guess they hand them out to the soldiers when they go into the nastier parts of the city? Hey, that reminds me. Big respect to this map maker for not just using the Combine motif for the governmental body of this city. Making the administrative area of an RP map out of Combine textures and assets is the go-to because that's what matches best with the stuff using the pre-established Half-Life 2 theme. But going through the extra effort to make it something unique that looks like it belongs to a different faction is very much appreciated. It's really sleek in here. I feel like if I did a knee slide, I could get at least 8 feet of distance. Whoa, check out the mural up there. And the tech throne. This presentation is crazy. This looks like a Metallica album cover or something. I wonder what the person who sits here is like. In my head, they're bald, with tattoos maybe, and a scepter. And what are these platforms off to the side for? Sentry turrets maybe? Guards? Imagine grinding on an RP server, making connections for weeks or maybe even months to work your way up to Royal Guard rank, only for your new job to just be to sit right here and watch the throne. I think I'd interpret that as the universe itself telling me to go outside. But hang on a minute. If the government in charge is situated here in this building, then what goes on in the castle? Is that big imposing fortress just for show? Let's check it out. From the front entrance we passed by earlier, it looks pretty imposing. It's hard to have your front door be a demon's mouth and not make a statement. But does that statement stay out or feed me? It's hard to say. Holy shit. What an immense room. I bet karaoke would go crazy in here, what with all the reverb. Off to the side is this tall-ass room. It looks to be for keeping records, or a treasury maybe. What's with this corkboard on the wall? On the lower right there, that might be the subway train we went by. On the upper right, that looks like an organized march. That might be the government's rise to power. But this photo on the upper left, though, the hell is that? It looks like a walking corpse. Something's wrong with their face. On the table there's a photo with similar creatures, one lying on the ground and two shambling towards the camera. It looks like this one was taken maybe down in the subway shops. Are they zombies? I didn't see that coming. Whatever they are, there must have been some sort of sickness in the past. That's probably how this government took power in the first place, by taking advantage of the crisis. That's how lots of regimes come to power. They typically don't last long, though, due to infighting and the CIA doing CIA things. I give it 10 years tops before a new one takes its place. Are you guys praying to an elder god again? What have I told you about elder gods? They might give in the moment, but they always take more than they give in the long run. But yeah, go ahead and worship. Whatever gets you to the next day, right? Future generations be damned. Seriously though, what is this? The statue looks extremely old. It's also heavily damaged. It seems to have been brought here, but from where? And who even is this? I bet they found it underneath the castle in that deep, dark pit we found in the sewers below. It probably spoke to the mayor or whatever and promised the secrets of the universe. Well, whatever the story is, makes for a sick visual flair. And that goes for the rest of Sorelane too. I don't think I've ever seen a Garry's Mod map that looks like this before. It really does feel like its own game, thanks to the hundreds of custom assets that make up the different sections of the map. It feels very retro-futuristic with this big castle in the center of an otherwise post-industrial society. I think at this point I've explored every major area of the map. Really, really great work here, M. Schulmeister. This had to have taken dozens, maybe even hundreds of hours to put together. It paid off, in my opinion. This map is gorgeous. Great night mood, too. I just don't think the aesthetic that's being pushed here would work with daylight. You really need the moodiness that comes with a cloudy night to pull off something like this. That was nice, wasn't it? There's nothing like a nighttime stroll to really make you appreciate the dark. The hours between sunset and sunrise are some of the chillest hours of the 24-hour cycle for me. And that's doubly true when you're just taking it in through a video game like this. And you know what? I didn't realize it until now, but this episode is sort of like a city edition of the late night special. All the maps we looked at were very urban environments. And you know what? I am more than okay with that. I feel like nighttime really hits its stride when you walk under the yellowy glow of the streetlights, or bask in the neon haze of an open sign while the hustle and bustle of the day is replaced by the lively nightlife all around you. I really enjoyed doing another late night special. Good night maps are hard to find. A lot of them just happen to be dark, but the ones we got to explore this time really went for it, and I have to tip my hat to all the map creators featured this time around. Check out the maps with the links in the description, and maybe leave them some nice comments. They deserve it. Before I close this out, I want to take a moment to thank all the amazing people who contribute to my Patreon page. The support over there has been way more helpful than I could have ever imagined. So thank you all. Seriously. And with that, it's time to close the book on episode 17 of Where Are We Now? I hope you all enjoyed joining me on my late night strolls and ramblings. And remember to take that meat out of the freezer in time to thaw it for dinner. Alright, have a good night, and I'll catch you on the flip side. See ya!